Welcome back to Solo Adventures. My name is Livy and I'm here yet again with another BGG Solitaire PnP contest review. So today the game we're going to be looking at is Power Void, a Peg Solitaire style game of warring factions. So as usual, if you're not interested in watching me actually play this game, then you can feel free to skip to the end to hear my final thoughts. Otherwise, let's venture forth. So in order to get set up for Power Void, first we put the monarch in the middle purple area. And then there's a couple of different ways that we can use to choose our faction. We can shuffle these cards and pick one at random, or the way I do it is I just reach in and draw a color. So this game we're going to be the council. And then we just draw the cubes out of our container and put them down in reading order. So left to right, up to down. Okay, so each family or house that's competing for the role of monarch has a different way of moving. And each of the council and the family each have 9 cubes each. The guard only has 8 because their ability is to jump 2 enemies at a time instead of 1. So at the very beginning of the game, the monarch is killed and removed. I guess we technically don't really need this piece, but I think it's kind of funny. And now we have the Power Void that the title alludes to. So the movement of the cubes is based on which faction they are. So the yellow cubes can only move in straight lines and jump over 1 enemy at a time. We are playing the council, so we can only jump over an enemy and end at kind of an angle. We sort of sidestep. And the guard has to jump 2 squares at a time. Now the object of the game is to have the most members of our faction still surviving at the end of the game. And we are now able to move any piece we like in any order. The factions are also allowed to take out their own members in this struggle for power. So let's see where we can make an opening move. If it's impossible to make an opening move, then we get rid of all of these cubes in this center area around the monarch. But we should be able to move somewhere. Yes, so I'm the council and we go across and over. Likewise, I can do that here. The guard jumps 2. Now it's getting tricky, because I have to keep playing as long as there are valid moves. So I might have to start losing some of my guys. Now it's starting to get tricky, because I can't land in a space where there's already a cube. So I'll have to lose this piece maybe, but I can take this one. Jump 2. And that's the last move we can make, because the guard can only jump 2 spaces at a time. And none of these places are open. So now we get into the final scoring. First we add up all of our guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. and then we subtract the surviving members of the other faction. So 1. Our final score is 6. So let's see what that puts us at. 6 pieces. You are acknowledged as the monarch with little argument. So the best score we could have is 7 or more. So we win. So what do I think about this game? Let's talk about it. Alright, so that was Power Void. As usual, we're going to start talking about the build. Now the build for this game is a snap. It is essentially 4 cards. 3 poker-sized cards and 1 big jumbo card. Then in addition, you're going to need to have cubes, pawns, or meeples. You only need a maximum of 9 per color, so that's really not so bad. And yeah, that's really all you need. I think the game looks really stylish on the table in its full color glory. I like the bright primary colors, and I like how the floor of I think it's a throne room, the floor looks like marble, which is a really cool, really neat little touch. There are not a lot of components, but what we have here is pretty nice. Now, the gameplay of this game is quite simple. There are very few things that you need to remember. Really, you just need to remember how the different factions move, and that's not difficult because of the cards and even the instructions printed on the throne room itself. The rules are simple, and I think it's cool that you get to control all of the different warring factions, not just your own. And I think it's also kind of funny that there's so much backstabbing in this fight for power that the factions even kill their own members. I also like how the setup is randomized every game, so it's never quite the same twice. I like that the central mechanism of just jumping cubes over each other is just fun. It's fun and satisfying to watch them all slowly disappear off the board. But what didn't I like about this game? Well, I wonder if this game isn't a little too simplistic for its own good. I feel like that with just a little bit of practice that one can get pretty good at this, and at this point I don't really lose very often, and it's not too hard for me to get a relatively good score. I think the game could have been improved if maybe there were some special hexes on the board, like if you can get anybody in the corners, that's worth 5 points, and if you can get anybody at the end finishing on the central throne spot, that would be worth like 10 points. I don't know. I just think that maybe it could have a little something extra to spice it up a little bit. There's not really a way to adjust the difficulty as far as I can tell. So, should you play this game? Yes, I think that if it looks interesting to you, you should really try it out. I mean, if you're not a fan of Peg Solitaire, this game isn't really going to change your mind. But for those of you out there who really like that mechanic, I think you will enjoy the simplicity of this short, sweet little game. I don't know how long it's going to hold my attention due to the aforementioned easiness, but I have enjoyed all the time I've spent with it so far. Thank you so much for watching! If you haven't already, please subscribe, and if you want to support the channel, you can check out my Patreon. My patrons find out what videos I'm going to be releasing next before anybody else does. You can also check out the Facebook group for all things solo gaming. So until next time, my friends, stay adventurous.